In this world, ranking is important since it determines a person's status and stirs up their desires. Not only that, it also can determine power, intelligence, connections, wealth, and jobs. In this era, everything has a ranking, and this is my journey begins. I'm in Tori Village. Everything seems normal, chopping woods, doing house choir, and etc. I'm low, 16 years old. My neighbor suddenly came up, asking me to help him with his feet, and I had no other choice since I'm just a kid. But my crazy best friend suddenly kicked him. This is Yuna, same age as me, and she was like my protector. Because I always looked like a dumb person who always zoning out because of my look, so they are taking this advantage. Yuna suddenly shakes me like a toy while scolding me for always acting like a tool for the others, but I don't mind it, but for Yuna, this wasn't the case. Yuna said, I know you're kind and all, but there's something I knew to surprise you. Do you want to go outside the village? I actually found a hidden path no one knows about. But her grandmother wildly appeared out of nowhere like a Pokemon games. She heard everything Yuna said and reminded her if she forget the village's rules that they aren't allowed to go outside. Because of that, she was dragged away from me to lock her out. But then another damn lazy-ass bastard man asking me to draw some water for him, and of course, I said yes. But he suddenly told me, you two are the only ones around the same age in this village, though you really are complete opposites. Lo, it's okay to take a break sometimes, you've got things you want to do too, right? After hearing it, I started to think he was right. But I refused to do that. Ever since my parents died early, and I was all alone, everyone treated me like family. I actually know everyone's been looking out for me, so that I wouldn't be alone. I want to repay that kindness. This is why I always obey everyone, because I really love this village and everyone in it. This man in front of me starts to cry, thinking if I want to live at their place, so I refuse since I still have the house my parents left me. To me, the villagers are what matter most, and the outside world doesn't mean much. Later on, Yuna was held in a trap cage. Even though she tried to beg let her out, but her old man doesn't let her. Then she start to ask her grandmother why they can't ever leave the village. They even call merchants over sometimes, so she think it wasn't a big deal after all. Not only that, the outside world is much bigger player, so she wonder why they have to stuck here all the time. Her grandmother reveals they are people who are resented, and Yuna wonder who they are resenting for. But her grandmother doesn't want to disclose this, and let the time to sort it all out. Meanwhile, I pour the last bucket that I need to fill the well. Out of nowhere, a rock hits me and Yuna did this. She was calling me to go somewhere else. You snuck out again? I asked, she responded, after getting caught so many times. Escaping is a piece of cake. Anyway, come with me low. She dragged me in this place where a hole that goes to other side of the wall. At first, I was hesitant since Grandma will be furious, but my stubborn best friend keeps on insisting. As she told me that she have something she want to show to me, this caught my interest. As we came out of Tori Village, a beautiful forest surprises us. Yuna pointed the place she wants to show me, and as we arrived there, I was astonished by the beautiful landscape that I never see in my whole life. Look low. This is the outside world. It's this wide, she said while I'm still speechless for what I'm witnessing right now. For the first time, I found something that makes me so happy. Yuna smirked, as this is the first time she saw me happy like she never seen before. Then she grabs a book and asks me if I know the rules of the outside world. According to this book, she secretly got from a merchant. The outside world has a system called ranking. Adventurers, couriers, doctors, musicians. There are all sorts of ranking, and those who make the list are called rankers. Even weapons, food, strength, and wealth. Everything in this world gets ranked, and it seems like everyone is seriously competing. After reading it, I slowly understand that the world has rules too, and for Yuna, these rules looks fun unlike their village's rules. Yuna stood up and frankly declared, I want to become a ranked adventurer, traveling around, competing with rivals all over the world, and someday becoming one who's cool and respected. I responded by her reaction by telling her we aren't allowed to leave the village, but she doesn't care about that, and she have been already decided to go for it. Then she's convincing me to go with her, to go on an adventure. She then told me that I have to get out there, because a long time ago, when we were only 5, a huge bird attacked Yuna. And I was there, holding a club saved her ass from a huge bird. This is the story she told, but I didn't remember if what just happened that day because I only remember holding a stick and strike the bird. Yuna knew from that moment, even though I space out all the time. When I put my heart into it, I get stronger than anyone else, and she's sure I'll shine even brighter outside the village, so she reaches her hand and pursues me to come explore the world with her. I began imagining things like coming with her, exploring this beautiful world full of mysteries. But thanks, Yuna, I love this village too much to leave. Then she suddenly hit me for my stubbornness. She had enough and decided to go without me and let me stay stuck in this village forever, and I was there sitting, telling her to be careful going back. Yuna leaving the village, I've never thought about it before. I sit here for a while thinking about this ranking thing, but as soon the sun sets in, I decided to head back. As I stood up, I saw something from above. It's like a floating island, and this is the first time I saw this kind of thing flying around. It began to charge that looks like an energy. After a few seconds, it blasted a beam of energy. I tried to cover myself from its force. When I looked back, it gone like nothing just happened. But reality shook me when I realized that unknown floating object were right above the village. So I immediately run and think, everything was fine and nothing just happened. I hope Yuna, Grandma, and the villagers were fine. But as soon as I hit the cliff, my eyes widened. Because the whole village had gone and nothing had left, only a huge crater. What is this? The village? Yuna. Grandma. Someone. Is anyone there? My voice echoed into nothingness. I start to remember everything from this precious place where everyone were here for me, treating me as their family. I yelled and screamed deep to my lungs, knowing they have gone. Why? Why did this happen? Damn it. I was too late again. Then a voice suddenly spoke up and said all I could do was watch. When I raised my head, I saw a middle-aged man looking at me. He wasted no time and goes for me. He asked if I was a survivor from Tori village, and I agreed. I could tell by looking on his eyes, he knew I'm in a tough situation. Then he said, but don't worry, that island is gone now? So I wonder what he meant about island he was talking about. So I asked him, do you know what that thing was? Tell me, what happened to the village? And the people? What's going on? What was that? The man didn't let a single word from his mouth and handed me a paper while telling me to forget the village and head to the place written here and you'll be able to live safely. I'm so furious looking for an answer, so I grabbed him and ordered him to tell me the answer, but instead of answering my question, he reminded me to look at the situation. The entire village just vanished. This is not a world a kid like you should be involved in. Forget the past. Since this is the only thing you can do, those are the words he said before leaving me. But in this man's thought, he doesn't want Lo to dig any further information as he doesn't want him to become another casualty. But I refused to forget this pain in my chest. I remember the moment Yuna reminded me that when I put my heart into it, I'll get stronger than anyone else. Suddenly, a powerful burst of energy gathered through my body, and this caught the man's attention. I asked him, how could I ever forget? I swore that I'm going to that island, and I will bring everyone back, no matter what. When I was young, my parents died in a landslide. Right after that situation, I was left alone. But the villagers took care of me. Yuna was always right by my side no matter what. They were all good people that couldn't ignore anyone who was hurt. So all of them, how could I ever forget them? That's why I'm going to that island, and I'll bring everyone back, no matter what. The man was surprised by Lo's excessive amount of prana, like the surrounding space distorting. Prana refers to the mental energy of living beings. It's a power anyone can possess, but few are aware of it. However, talented individuals can use it intentionally. Although eyes usually colorless and transparent, those with powerful prana can make it visible. Not only that, it's said that some races possess special prana. So the man recognized Lo is in Survivor of Babel, but he wanted to prioritize protection. But it seems he had escape on his own within a few years. Since this was the case, he handed me a sword. He dared me to take the sword if I wanted to go to that island. Because if he see potential within me, he promised to train me. So I wasted no time and grabbed the sword. He also put out his sword and told me to come at him with the intent to kill. Right there, I gather myself. Then lunges towards this man without hesitation. The man expected this mindless attack since Lo is just a beginner. However, the pressure he was giving was different from the others. Far beyond different from the others. The waves of his prana are extraordinary. So he knew Lo is the real deal. From that time, he knew he had high hopes for Lo. Later on, he revealed that the island took their village is called Island of the Gods. It usually floats on the vast sea, but very rarely, it appears in completely different places while erasing both people and land. He also revealed that he been working to prevent that, but he was too late again. According to one theory he heard, the humans enveloped in that light might have been taken to the island of the gods. So I think if I touched that light too, I could get there, but this man reminded me it's just a theory, and even if they are alive, no one knows what's being done to those people. So what should I do? I asked, and he responded, first there's the direct approach. He told me that I need to rank in the top 10 in adventurer ranking. When he mentioned adventurer ranking, he explained to me that adventurers are responsible for surveying and exploring uncharted territories. It has the most participants among the rankings, and the top rankers are all monsters. If you can rank in the top 10 there, you can go to the Island of the Gods. He added that the Island of the Gods has consistently been Danger Zone ranking number 1, where almost no adventurers has ever returned alive. So he asked me if I still want to go, and I didn't hesitate to say yes. This caught the man's interest. So first, the man will train me for a year, but he reminded me that all he can do is to teach me with the swordsmanship. And after that, he will let me use him as stepping stone and climb the adventurer ranking on my own. Therefore, he introduced himself as Adel, the ranked one in the knight ranking, the strongest knight of humanity. This shocks me, and he asked my name, so I let him know. Adel promised me that he will go easy on me. He also revealed that after a long time, I'm the first person who cut him down with one strike. So this lifts up my spirit. As the hellish year began, I encounter countless injuries and near-death situations like blisters burst on both hands and feet, muscles getting tore, bones getting crushed, and my blood poured from every orifice in my body. Adel never spoke about the Island of the Gods after that, as if telling me to find everything else out on my own, and if that's impossible, then give up. But my hope the villagers still be alive still in my heart, so for now, I have no choice but to keep believe that. Questions linger in my mind. Why did the village disappear? What exactly is the Island of the Gods? But to find out the truth, I must climb the adventurer ranking first. 1 year had passed. Adel asked me if I was ready, but little did he not know, I was ready all this time. I close my eyes and remember those words from Yuna.
I want to become a ranked adventurer. Come with me, Lo. Let's go on an adventure.
Yuna, who longed for the outside world, is gone. To think I'd be the one to set out on a journey. I had no other choice, and let me Yuna's dream hold on to it for now. Adel called me to move forward, so I did. It's been a year, and I'm currently 17 years old, and since it's my growth period, I've grown a lot. I'm the disciple of humanity's strongest knight, and starting from here, my adventure to the Island of the Gods begins. Meanwhile, at capital city of Trakista. Inside the Trakista branch of the Appraisal Bureau, a girl named Luke was peacefully sleeping. She startled when she realized she had been dozed off again. Her friend asked her if she were up all night checking the rankings again, and she think there's no problem doing this since she's an appraiser. She's just concerned because she need to take better care of her condition, unlike her, who's on desk duty, and she's in charge PF determining people's rankings. In this world, appraisers are those dispatched all over the world to assess rankers' skills and update the rankings accordingly. Appraisers must have extensive expertise and uphold fair judgment. To be capable of judging others' merits and ranks, appraisers must first pass several assessments themselves. It's one of the strictest jobs in the world, entrusted only to those who are chosen. Even though Luke is her appraiser, she's still bottom tier, that's why she's working so hard to climb the ranks. Her friend wondered what she wants to do now, and Luke replied a bunch of things. She gave Luke an advice that for an appraiser, the fastest route for promotion is to become the exclusive appraiser of a skilled ranker, which is true for Luke, but she thinks she's having hard time to find a ranker she like. She thought Luke's standards are just too high and Luke deny it because for her, rankers these days are just lame. She explained back in the day, ranking competition was way fiercer, but now, the top ranks in most categories are basically fixed, which defeats the purpose of them appraisers being around. So for her, the value of ranking lies in their consistent updates. So her friend understands she's a ranking maniac, and she agreed. Luke was hoping there's someone out there with a promising new star that could turn the rankings upside down. She also hoped that new start might be in here. As they got inside, a lot of people waiting for the appraisal ceremony. Luke was surprised by their numbers since adventurers' ranking registration exam wasn't always this crowded. They thought this caused by the Azaban Forest after adding to the Danger Zone ranking 2 months ago, so people had no other choice. She also introduced there are a lot of promising candidates this time. Just like this guy, this is Owl Darkus, a mercenary ranking number 753. He's the leader of the Red Wolf Mercenary Corps, a top-notch rookie in the country. The other one is Eddie Markman, an archer ranking number 402. Markman family is famous for its archery. His dad was once number 2 and his brother is currently number 7, and there was a rumor that even at young age, Eddie's arrow speed ranks in the double digits, making him a bright future ahead of him. Other than that, she also introduced some other promising ranker, such as Knight Ranker, Sailor Ranker, and even a Guide Ranker. Luke, proud and confidently, told her by only looking at them, she can tell where ranking field they belong. Since she's a ranking maniac, she thinks this is just an easy job for her, even how many they are. All of a sudden, someone hit the bell from the front desk, so she goes out to check it. It was Lo, asking if this is where he register for the rankings. She agreed and explained to him the ranking are a system managed and operated by their appraisal bureau. Appraisers dispatched across the land assess rankers' achievements and abilities to determine their ranks. Rank also update can be done anywhere with an appraiser, but initial registration must be done at an official bureau. After hearing it, Lo wants to register for the adventurer ranking, and she thinks his timing is perfect since the exam is about to start. She handed a paper to fill his name and told the exam fee is 3,000 mel. Lo wasted no time and handed to Mel while filling up the form. Afterwards, Luke came out to prepare the things they needed, and her attention was caught after passing by at Lo. Luke got confused as there's still some people like Lo don't know what the appraisal bureau is, and she agreed since it's been a while since she had to explain it. Lo ignored everything and just focused on his goal. As the adventurer ranking registration exam began, she explained there are 3 types of test. The first is written test, then a practical test, and the final one will be explained right before it starts. Their overall score will determine if they pass or fail. Even if they mess up one section, a high score in the others might get them through, so they must not worry. As the written test began, other adventurer ranker were having hard time as the scope is huge. After a few minutes, the exam has done. So informed everyone that the practical test will begin in 2 hours in the forest outside the village, and they will guide them once the written test is graded, so they advise everyone to wait there until then. She called Luke to help her out grading the candidates. As they were checking one by one their written exam, Luke's attention was caught by one of the papers. She recognized this written exam from Lo that she saw earlier. When she checked Lo's answer, she was disappointed as all of his answers were wrong. 2 hours later, the practical test is treasure hunt. They must deliver the items listed on this form, refer to the point values on the right, and aim for those with a higher score if they want. However, fighting between participants is prohibited, which means whoever touches the item first has the ownership rights. The participants were confident as they have some knowledge for such thing like this. Therefore, the practical exam had begun. They finally glad they had a break, but they wonder how many will pass this time, and Luke think about half of the participants. For Luke, by only judging their movements, they are so predictable and not a single one of them catches her eye. Owl arrived, asking if he's the one first to finish. He handed a rigil, or which has total points of 120. She reminded him there's some time left, and asked if he's going to stop there, and Owl agreed, since he only aims for passing the exam. She told him if he back up more points here, he will start at high ranking after he registered, but he refused since his real job is a mercenary and doesn't care about the adventurer ranking. Later on, Eddie Markman also came, thought he was the first. He handed a tail feather from a flock bird that means he had 180 points. Owl mocked him for only bragging over a bird feather. But Eddie proudly informed him he wasn't bragging because this kind of bird can fly silently at 500 kilometers per hour, and he's sure Owl won't even see them with his naked eyes. So they challenge each other for competing who's better than them. All of a sudden, something caught their attention. Lo dragging a full-size grown bear like it was nothing. He told them he don't know how to extract a red grizzly's gallbladder, so he brought the whole corpse and asked if he could submit it like this. They agreed he can, and this caught everyone's attention after taking down a red grizzly alone. Luke looks delighted that Lo can tell it was a red grizzly, even though his written test was a disaster earlier. Lo told them red grizzly commonly showing up a lot near his village, so he knew what it looks like. Luke caught her attention as 2 men talking about how Lo killed the red grizzly. But even though he was there, he can't say he saw it because after Lo drew his sword, the red grizzly was already sliced down. So Luke starts to get suspicious at Lo's true identity. 1 hour later, at the underground training facility, she informed that most adventurers always wary wasn't only the beast, but also humans. She explained that an adventurer's mission is to explore new lands. Naturally, they often go to unpopulated areas. There, they usually face the threats of bandits or pirates, so they need strength to overcome those threats. Since their final test is a mock battle, that means they will be competing against each other. Eddie understand why they didn't tell this earlier on the second test, because some arrogant adventurer would eliminate others immediately. Out of nowhere, a crazy-ass man grabs Owl's shoulder, challenging him to a fight. While flexing his muscles, he mentioned Owl only picked up a rock, and he also heard before that the mercenary ranking are full of things that are just loud. So he mock Owl and wonder what kind of third-rate ranker he was while charging his attack. But Owl was unfazed and simply pull out the tip of his sword, hitting the ignorant man's chin. This instantly take him down. Owl couldn't take the insult anymore, but she let it slide. Considering this guy's previous scores, he was going to fail so far. She starts to think who suits Owl to fight, and since Eddie's ranked close to him, she think he can choose her, but Luke called her. Luke wants to test Lo to fight Owl. Therefore, the test had began and many adventurers starts to fight each other, trying their best to get qualified. For the match 8, they introduced Owl and Eddie as comrade. But there's a twist. They were against Lo, all alone like a true Sigma. The other were speechless and confused why they do this. Also, Owl think he's out of his mind, and Eddie was a bit insulted for being underestimated. At first, she was hesitant for Luke's decision. But Luke was confident that her eyes are not mistaken that Lo is a monster. The Colosseum was filled with silence. They are waiting if who's going to strike first. Therefore, Lo, Owl, and Eddie prepare their stance. But before we starts, let me explain Owl Darkus's background as the leader of the Red Wolf mercenary group. Last year, they made a name for themselves by eradicating the Claymore Mafia, who were ranked 62nd among criminal organizations. It's said that their young leader Owl single-handedly took down 7 executives, including the boss. Eddie Markman, the young master of Markman, a prestigious family of archers. He received talent training from his father, who was once ranked 2nd in archery, and was registered in the ranking at just 5 years old. There's no archer that doesn't know this prodigy, whose skills are worthy of his lineage. So comparing him against this too is far beyond, because he is just an unknown man who fight for a reason. Moreover, she told them to begin the fight. Eddie wastes no time and shoots Lo with his arrow. But he easily avoided it, and Owl took this opportunity to strike him. But luckily, Lo able to block his attack. They exchanging blows over and over. Because of how fast they are, the adventurers who watching them aren't able to see them, but only can hear the sword clashing together. Lo gave Owl a death stare, then he parry his attack, making Owl to lose his balance. He prepared to strike him, but Eddie shoots an arrow while he's off guard. But with Lo's precise swordsmanship, he was able to cut the arrow in half. Then he slashed the other arrow that approaching. Because how powerful the arrows, it almost hit the watchers. Lo stood tall, no sweat, and unharmed against them. So they realize he's probably among the top in the night ranking, and Eddie agreed, but the thing confuses him is, he never seen him before. Lo asked them if they are ranked in other categories, and they revealed they are 3-digit rankers. Since this was the case, Lo was confident that he's going to defeat them and reach 3 digits as well. His prana bursts inside the Colosseum. They were surprised by his overwhelming prana, and they were astonished by his intimidating aura. Also, Luke was surprised that she was able to see his prana's color with his naked eyes. Eddie reminded him that rankings aren't just about occupation. The reason why he became the 402nd in the archery ranking because of his precise shooting. But as he about to say something, he's too shocked as Lo already took him down in a second. As Lo approaching, Owl prepared his weapon. But he's confused by what he was doing. He is frankly approaching Owl like a brain-dead warrior. After seeing his eyes, he knew he's packed up. Instantly, Lo suddenly appeared right behind him. Before his sword landed to his neck, Owl surrendered. He can't afford to be knocked out like Eddie, since he have to go to work after this qualification. So Lo understood. While sheathing their sword, Owl finally understand he's a monster. But he still had no idea who he was and where he came from. Everyone were surprised and astonished at Lo after beating 2 3-digit rankers. Also, Luke were delighted her thought about Lo was right. Therefore, it was announced that Lo is the winner in this fight. All of a sudden, Luke ran towards her computer. She goes to Appraiser exclusive database, then look for Lo's database, but upon reviewing, she saw he's only a 17 years old who had no previous ranking experience, but still had this kind of skill, and yet, even the appraisal bureau didn't seem to know much about him. So she assumed he might from criminal or some special sector. Luke's so excited, knowing this is a good chance to take him as her apprentice. She immediately go out and invited Lo to be her exclusive appraiser. But there's many appraiser already trying to convince him. Luke was disappointed as she was too late because these people supposed to investigate someone's background before making an exclusive offer. Meanwhile, Lo had no idea about an exclusive appraiser. Luke goes for him to explain this. An exclusive appraiser is someone who's dedicated to a specific ranker and updates their ranking regularly. Generally, in order to update your ranking, you have to wait for the appraisal bureau to dispatch someone for evaluation. But with an exclusive appraiser, you can update it on the spot, anytime. It's especially appreciated by ranked adventurers who travel the world. Not only that, appraisers have the exclusive devices called the ranking telegram, or RankTel for short, to get latest information. So in summary of those explanation is, if he wants to raise his ranking efficiently, then he should hire an exclusive appraiser too. Lo said, if I want to efficiently raise my ranking, I have one condition. Is there anyone here who can get me into the Adventurer Rankings top 10? This made everyone surprised by his determination and high hope. This made everyone hesitant because top 10 in the Adventurer ranking is full of monsters, and even though his swordsmanship is excellent, doing it alone isn't enough for the top 10, they said. So Lo left speechless. As Lo about to leave, Luke hesitant to call him. But then she gathered her confidence to call him. She chased him outside the appraisal bureau, trying her best to catch him. Later on, Lo stopped for a while and Luke confronted him about his reason to get into the top 10 of the Adventurer ranking. Lo wants to keep it for himself and said that's none of your business. But Luke frankly replied, then let's make it my business. I'll become your exclusive appraiser. I'll guide you into the top 10 of the Adventurer ranking. Lo immediately refused, as she doesn't want to put a kid in danger. This frustrated her for being called a kid, even though he's a kid too. Then she was shocked when Lo told her that even she's not a kid, he have no intention of hiring anyone, because he doesn't want to drag other into his own problem. But Luke didn't give up. She declared that she have a mission she must accomplish even if it costs her life, and in order to do that, she want to join hands with him. Lo look at her, and this reminds himself when he was young, his determination and goal to aim at impossible things. He also revealed that he have something he must do too. Furthermore, Lo let her give the reason to hire her. After explaining, they began introducing themselves to each other, and Luke swore she's going to guide him to become a top ranker. Later on, they head to her apartment. Luke rented Lo a nice and cozy room. She rented it for a few days, so they can use it as their base for now. While Lo thanking her, she sarcastically said it's nothing while throwing her back. It turns out that she's mad that Lo gave her 1 week probation. So she swore to show him how competent she was in that week, then she mocked Lo that he's going to beg at her at the end. Then she imitate Lo begging at her to be his exclusive appraiser. Lo ignore it and let her be. But Luke somehow amazed by his excellence as a fighter, but being empty-headed, as always just like what the villagers thought at him. Suddenly, her RankTel rang. She said that the test results are out. It also revealed he's 2,728th place in Adventurer ranking. That means he passed the Adventurer ranking registration test. Lo was a bit disappointed that he didn't get 3 digits, because he was against 2 3 digits earlier. Luke understand what he meant, so she explained to him the Adventurer ranking has more people compared to other rankings. So the competition is fierce. No matter how strong he was, there's a limit on how high he will place. There are also various rankings besides just his occupation. For example, his sword speed ranking is 58th, which is a quite good rank. But still, Lo's face still disappointed. Then Luke wants to show Owl and Eddie's rank to show the different ranking they had. Owl Darkus have such ranks like mercenary, swordsman, special cleaning, informant, reliable boss. And or Eddie Markman, he had archer, sniper, reconnaissance, mushroom cultivation, and if Lo get multiple rankings, he could easier to get more work. So Luke wants Lo to register in multiple rankings too. But Lo refuses as he wasn't looking for work. Luke knew Lo basically want to get into the top 10 of the Adventurer ranking as fast as possible, and he's going to the Island of the Gods. Lo was surprised she knew this, and she knew this because that's the only special privilege he can get in the top 10 of the adventurer ranking. But she asked him if he could tell the reason when the probation period ends. Lo agreed, so Luke was glad and decided to tell her circumstances at that time too. Since this is fair for him, he disclosed their deal, and to be more fair, Luke wants to tell the truth. She was chasing the darkness of the rankings. This surprised Lo and asked what she meant, but decided to forget about it. Then she changed the topic by asking Lo how did he get so strong, especially that he's a swordsmanship, and this kind of class can't be learned overnight. Lo revealed he became the disciple of a knight named Adel a year ago. She was astonished hearing this because Adel is the first ranked knight. For Lo, he think it wasn't that big deal since he only been trained for a year. Luke revealed that Adel is famous for not teaching swordsmanship to anyone. So many people have asked him and teach them and been rejected. So if there was a disciple rejection, ranking Adel would definitely be first. There's also rumors that he was waiting to pass it on to the next generation's first ranked knight, and thanks to that, many knights are desperately trying to raise their rankings. But to think that Lo were the one inheriting it, she's sure that other knights would faint if they heard this news. Lo had no idea that he just met a guy who's truly amazing and one of the most world's strongest knight. But he's confused because Lo beat him with a sword which Luke think it was impossible. Luke starts checking the data again as he just casually saying such things while looked so spaced out. When she searched deeper from his lineage, his name registered for the first time, so she asked if this surname is an alias. Then he remembered Adel asking him about his surname, but Lo had no idea what it was. He advises Lo if he want to take the shortest route to the island of the gods, he must tell to people his name is Lo Tuli. He knew the risk was high, but he trusts Lo he could do well, and some clues might approach him on its own. This is the words marked on his mind. Lo told her it's not an alias, because Tuli is the name of his precious family. Luke understand and thanked him for telling this. Moreover, they decided to call it a day, and her appraiser work is also done too. So she decided to take her hat off. Lo was surprised to see her true appearance, because Luke is woman after all. Luke was surprised as he just realized it just now. Later on that night, Luke was peacefully reading some news. Just a moment, Lo came downstairs with his common, spaced-out-looking face. Then out of nowhere, he told to Luke that he's going to get a water, which confuses her. He realized he's daydreaming and shifted the topic by greeting Luke a good morning. Therefore, Luke decided to take their breakfast since they will have a long journey today. She wants to start a strategy meeting to aim for top 10 in the adventurer rankings. While they were eating, Luke explained to him that in order to raise his adventurer ranking, he need adventure achievements. Land development or exploration is basic. These can be done voluntarily, but I recommend taking on request for now. There are many people who need an adventurer's strength for things like gather or investigation, and if it's a request, you can also get a reward, and it's perfect for beginners. She added that request can be received from the Accreditation Bureau or, depending on the country, from a guild union, and if she's around, Lo can get them all with this one thing. Was it called Ranktel? Convenient, Lo replied. Then he asked her if there's any request that can raise his rank easily, so Luke advised him to take high difficulty request. Since this was the case, Lo wants to take the request from the very top, and Luke start checking the list of the requests. But upon checking, there's nothing possible at Lo's current level, but Lo trying to convince her by telling they don't know unless they try. Even though Luke know it, she doesn't even want to try. While they were talking, a man was low-key listening to their conversation. But still, Lo's still trying his best to convince her to try it once because the Isle of Gods is ranked first in danger zone, so he can't back down in a place like this. Luke taken aback by his stubbornness more than her, and she must thinking a way to persuade him. The guy that listening to their conversation earlier suddenly approached them, knowing they have a problem. Surprisingly, this is Laud and Luke knew each other. Luke introduced him as Laud Broward, one of the strongest adventurer, and he's rank 11th. When he heard this, Lo remember what Adel said to him, that the top rankers are all monsters. Knowing he's the 11th rank, he knew this guy is one of those monsters he was talking about. And being 11th rank means he need one more rank to be able to challenge the Isle of Gods. Moreover, Luke came right in time as she wants to ask a favor. It turns out that this favor is to fight Mr. Laud. He felt a bit awkward, as he didn't expect him to accept the duel. Lo introduced his full name, but Mr. Laud felt his awkwardness when politely speaking, so he advised him to speak where he was comfortable since manners aren't needed in adventurer rankings. He also revealed Luke updated his ranking for him before. Not only she had a vast knowledge, she can also has the conviction to create accurate rankings which different from the other appraiser because of her passion and dedication in her job. So he owe her so much, that's why he accept her request. He thought she wants a stubborn beginner know his place, as she seems to care about him. By only looking at him, Lo feel his intimidating strength like he was going to be skewered wherever that spear charges at him. Luke called him, telling him this is the good chance to learn how vast the world at least once. He starts to whisper to himself, the vastness of the world, you say? Then it reminds him the past that he doesn't want to remember anymore. He then frankly said, I already know. Right now, we will be witness the fight against a rank 11 adventurer Laud Broward against Lo Thule, an adventurer ranking 27-28. The start had begun. Lo wastes no time and charges with determination in his eyes. He maneuvered himself and made a powerful slash that Laud easily dodged. But he's somehow surprised by his idea unleashing his prana with the slash, so starts to wonder if he was coating the tips of his hand and feet to improve his agility. While fighting, he observes his swordsmanship, but he wasn't sure. Because the sword saint style he knew is a direct lineage, and a secret swordsmanship taught to only one person in a lifetime, that means there's no way he could pass it down to a child like this. Lo immediately maneuvered himself behind Laud while he was spacing out. But instinctively, he's still able to block his attack. This surprised Lo while Laud teasing him that he wasn't sweating a bit. As their fight keeps on going, Laud noticed his prana has more than him. Not only that, shimmers. After parrying Lo's attack, he asked him if what tribe he came from, which Lo had no idea what he was talking about. Laud thinks he's just playing dumb because by seeing his prana shimmer, it's something acquired later in life. Since Lo doesn't want to talk, he decided to find out by himself. Then he asked Lo if he can use arts too. Lo doesn't understand what he was talking about. Out of nowhere, Laud starts to chant, the furiously galloping horse, passing many mountains, seeks its breath. Seeing the water surface rippling in the newly bloomed sunlight, after finding peace, it turns its hooves. The arts of the Broward tribe, spear art Zen. His art were overwhelmed by immense prana. Laud advised him to use his art too or else he will die. By Laud's powerful and overwhelming prana. Lo's face is so shocked to see it. Laud hurled his attack, and Lo were alerted from its approaching attack. He tried to parry some of Laud's attack, but it was too many, making him to get injured little by little. Laud told him that an ordinary sword can't block his technique. As he snaps his finger, more spear materialize from above. Lo tried to avoid it, but some of his spear caught him. So he start remembering what Adel said to him before. Lo, your prana handling is still rough. But once you get used to it, you'll slowly be able to use techniques. That time, he wondered what he meant. So Adel decided to demonstrate it for him to understand what he meant. At this moment, he did what Adel taught him. As he hurled his gale slash, Laud was surprised by its speed. He tried to block it, but Lo used this to distract him and catch him off guard. Laud acted swiftly by hurdling his attack. He tried his best to block Lo's attack because his supersonic slash is too fast for his naked eye to see. Out of nowhere, he threw his spear, so Lo tried to block his spear with his sword. Because of the amount of force, he wasn't able to keep up. Laud wants to finish him off. He snaps his finger, then a huge amount of spear appear above him. Luke and Lo knew this is bad. But for Laud, this is just a lesson for him on not to underestimate the adventurer rankings. Lo can't do anything than accepting his fate. He was defeated. Since Lo can't move anymore, it was announced that Laud Broward won their fight. Laud asked Luke if she was satisfied, and she agreed. Luke think Lo would have realized it by now. But somehow, Laud knew the reason why she wants to fight him. It is because Luke knew he would defeat Laud. Laud was right that Luke was thinking it would be possible. Laud knew he's Adel's disciple by only seeing his form. Earlier, he figured it out after seeing his high-speed slash, and knew this was Sword Saint technique. He don't know if he was right about this technique, but he heard that this prestigious lineage of the strongest swordsmanship passed down through generations of top-ranking knights. However, an adventurer-ranked boy inherited it. From the perspective of a knight ranker, it's like having their sacred symbol stolen, he said. Luke understood their situation, making them prevent Lo from encountering any knight rankers from now on, and Laud agreed, because worst-case scenario, he would die. But Laud think if he were active as knight ranker instead, it might work out better, but there's a problem, and Luke think it won't be possible. Luke confessed that she didn't believe it Lo because of the Sword Saint style, but she believed because she heard he landed a clean hit on Laud's son, which confused Laud. Because that is impossible with his current skills, so it doesn't make sense. This was the same thought of Luke, but by knowing Lo, she think he doesn't seem like the type to lie. Laud starts to assume there's some kind of explanation to that. But his Sword Saint technique was surprising for him, and not only that, his prana shimmer was even more. When he was walking away, he told her that Lo probably has a technique too. He knew if Lo used to it, he would have lost.